Yeah, well, I don't know if it was 39 litres or 31.9 or 38.5, but they're lying. It's 12 litres. It's 3.2 gallon. This is like 10 litres or something, or at least 9. Yeah, about 9.5. So that makes sense if that's 9.5 and that's 12.1 or something like that. So ultimately, there's a bit of white foam which I've sort of scrubbed off. I reckon that was part of the corrosion deal. I've washed out a little bit of rust out the bottom. Still got a bit of rust streak there. This would be a good pot for like cooking lobsters and shit still. Here's the trouble. Here's what I was saying. So cut with an angle grinder that way to there. And then I started going down this way and realised, holy hell, I'm going down too deep. So I stopped there and then I just cut it across there. Except there was actually 3 rivets I found later on, I believe. And one of them might have just been holding up against the side of this. Not actually going right through it, but just holding up. So I found there was a 3rd rivet later. But like one rivet's in sort of here. And then one sort of there. So because the rivet was down there, but it's got to be like here for the water to start flowing at any reasonable pace, and the rivet's down there. What had happened is it'll leak from where it's cut off in a straight line here, down to this part where my thumb is, where the rust basically stops. And so that's what the leakage was. When you'd stop, you'd get that extra, ½ inch or so that would just leak out. So that's what was leaking. I'm going to give this a wash, not so much on the outside. But definitely on the inside, because I got a scourer that I was using for something that isn't terribly clean. I forget what I was even using it for. I think it might have been cleaning up some metal of a bit of rubbish that's just in the laundry anyway. Long and short of it is, I've got a few dishes in the sink, so I might have to do the dishes first, and I'll throw this in shortly after. Really speaking, this is, I'm using a lot less water than I always assumed. No wonder it takes so long for the overhead tank to run out. It's like 2 weeks or so before it'll even run out. Now that I've got all the washing hooked off of rainwater. Usually I pump it every week. I left it more than a week and a half and pumped it like, was it last night or something? It took quite a while to pump. I've got to disassemble the water pump too, because that has a tendency to fill up with shit. And that's just getting slower and slower. And I can tell because I used to always refill within 10 minutes and now it's like 15 or more, and it was, so we disassembled that before we installed it in the tank. Like, this is going back like 11 years ago now. I'm going to get my father while I'm not working to disassemble that, and we'll have a look at it and we'll just see like how she's looking. And if it's built up with shit again and we can scrape it out, it builds up with like all the mineral stuff, any minerals that are in the water. And if it's good, we'll scrape that off and we'll reassemble. If it's bad and the impeller's buggered, I'll just go buy a new one, because this is getting slower and slower, and there's obviously something dying with the main one that pumps to the overhead tank, the little green tank on the giant stand, which I should be able to show you from here actually. So the one that goes out, the big one there, up to that one's getting slower and slower. So you'll see there's a black line that's sort of on the lower part there, and that goes up and feeds in on the other side, and then it also overflows on the other side down this white one, and so it refeeds back into it when it fills. And I just sort of stand there and you can hear it splashing, and I stand there till it sort of starts splashing. And fairly often I'll do it when I'm doing the washing, and I just turn it on and and like you come out, you know, 15 minutes later or whatever when you just started your second load of washing, and you have a look and it's already done. So yeah.